Mr. Lanahan, will you lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. We have a few rules for public comment, so everybody focus for a second. When your name is called off the list, we will ask that you come say your name and address clearly for the record. We are going to have a strict time limit, 3 minutes per person or 5 minutes per group of people. Remain civil and respectful. Address the whole board and not individuals. And we would prefer that the same concepts not get repeated over and over and over again. Okay? All right. We have a timekeeper. In 30 seconds, he will flash the sign, say 30 seconds, and then when your time has elapsed, he will show the stop sign. All right? Our first person is Joanne Clarkson.
My name is Joanne Thompson Clarkson. I live at 3316 Patriotism Highway, Piney River, Virginia. I'm here today to about concerns of maybe what our budget is going to consist of. As you all know, and I have been told that maybe a tax rate will be announced soon. Also, we do not know what the Piney River water bills will be increased to, as far as that goes. And also, the big thing now is affordability. Okay, we know that I've read in the newspaper, the county Commonwealth Attorney wants to boil space. Also, the school board wants more space. Also, the sheriff's office. So, is that going to be? Are they going to be moved in the courthouse? Or you all want to build buildings? Or also, are you going to have buildings that you can always upgrade? That is unknown at this time. So therefore, we also know that the governor has proposed numerous taxes. We do not know how that's going to affect the individual or how it's going to affect businesses in our county, as far as that goes. So we have to look at, make sure that we're not spending too much money or we are over budgeting what we are doing. Now, I have heard some rumors about certain funds. I'm not pleased. One of them, there's a rumor going around at a playground. Is that going to be on property that you already own? Okay, when you went and you all moved in social services, you bought that land there in Livingston. Why couldn't you have used the land you already had? Put that building on. That would have saved money, as far as that goes. Okay, there's also other things that I've heard about that will be done. This astronomical amount that the county pays for health insurance. I went to one agency in this county and asked them what percentage health insurance we taxpayers are paying for these employees. I was absolutely amazed at the percentage of what that was. Also, I've also heard a rumor about this Gladstone Depot. I'm all for having history preserved, but I'm not in favor of spending millions of dollars to do it, you know, as far as that goes. And everything. And I have a newspaper article here that I cut out some time ago. They applied for a grant. I don't mind the county putting out some money, but I don't want it to be over budgeted from what we have. So I think it's time that we decide what is important. I also think it's time that our supervisors in our various districts have a town hall meeting once this budget comes out so that we can ask more questions as to what is in that budget. That's what I would like to see, a town hall meeting in my district. And I'm not being prejudiced against anybody, but I think all of you all probably need them in your district. Thank you.
We really cannot hear back here.
Well, do you want to speak?
It's on.
It's okay. Thank you.
All right, Michael Hefner.
Just when you come up to speak, make sure the microphone is right in front of your mouth, please. And you can adjust it for taller and shorter people. So,
Michael Hevener, 1146 8 Road, Faubourg, Virginia, 22938, and I'm the chairman of the Nelson County Republican Committee, although I don't believe I will need the 5 minutes that deems that. Good afternoon, Madam Chair, board members. I see the public comment section is full, so probably is your email inboxes. But before I get started, I want to thank you, because serving as a board of supervisor, public servant is a selfless job. So thank you guys for doing that. Today you're going to hear a lot about fairness. Today you're going to hear a lot about leveling the playing field, about elected officials shouldn't be telling anybody how to vote, when every politician, including our governor, is doing just that. You're going to hear about Texas, whom you don't represent. You're going to hear about North Carolina, whom you don't represent. You're going to hear about politics, and yes, you're going to hear about our president. But what you're not going to hear is the message, the real message behind this referendum. The message is that we're going to stick it to rural counties in order to try to get at our president. Let's be honest here. I don't always or ever agree with Senator Lucas or Speaker Scott, but at least they were honest that this is 100% about Donald Trump. Let's be clear for those just tuning in. This is not about fairness, so let's stop pretending. This is not about Virginia voters or even Nelson County voters. So let's stop pretending. Because if this was about Nelson County voters have already spoken in 2020 for a bipartisan redistricting committee. 71%. Let that sink in. When has 71% of all of Nelson agreed on anything political? Yeah, I couldn't think of any either. But yet this amendment will ignore that. It will erase our voice and it will make our vote meaningless. Some say it's only going to be temporary. Temporary? So you're saying that we're going to temporarily stick it to Virginia and Nelson County voters so that we can get at Donald Trump. I don't think that sounds any better than the first time. But I want you to remember this. This isn't about us. This isn't about fairness. It's about politics. It's about sticking it to our president, period. And everything else is just theater. Everything else is just misdirection. If this referendum passes, Nelson County will be at the table asking for scraps. Scraps from Harrisonburg, Stanton, Waynesboro, Charlottesville, Albemarle, Lynchburg, Roanoke, Salem, Montgomery County, and Radford. We'll be asking for scraps. And you may be okay with that, but I'm not. 71% of Nelson County voters that voted in 2010 are not. I hope those watching online are not okay with it. So I ask this board to stand up for Nelson County, stand with our neighboring counties that have already passed similar resolutions, stand up and vote to pass this resolution to oppose this referendum. Thank you.
Lisa Saunders.
Thank you. Lisa Saunders, 4071 Thomas Nelson Highway, Arrington, Virginia. I'm here to oppose the US 29 corridor improvements, Route 655 to Virginia 56. Not only will this impede our business at Colleen Exxon, Colleen Feed and Seed, and potentially Colleen Drive-In if it was to open back up, but it would also cause more wrecks, in my opinion, because you're asking traffic to now go 4 lanes across 29 in order to make a U-turn when they pull out from us. They've got to cross the 2 lanes of 29. They've got to cross the lane that's made to come into Blue Ridge Medical Center, and they've got to get into the lane to make the U-turn. That includes the same thing if they come out of Colleen Road. Again, when you get down here to 56, you're asking people to pull out of that curve and cross 3 lanes of traffic to make a U-turn. It's not going to be any safer. The problem here is failure to abide by the law. They do not yield right away. They do not stay stopped at a stop sign. They do not, slow down when they need to. If you enforce the 45 miles an hour, that would make a huge difference. The stoplight in Livingston being put in has forced traffic to compact, and when it comes through all at one time, and people get impatient, they get tired of sitting and waiting, and that's what makes the accidents happen. I can show you video after video that is nothing but impatient. Someone pulling out in front of somebody, or somebody not knowing. If you put this in, then I guarantee you my drive-in building will be tore down, because we have already been hit 6 different times by tractor trailers that can't drive. And they can make a U-turn right now to get into that. If you put this in, they're gonna try to go straight across and then turn into where the drive-in is, and either try to make it around behind it, which is not physically possible, or try to cut in front of it, which is gonna tear the whole building down. They will not go down. You're asking all of my Arrington traffic to either go down and hit the Valero first, or in more reality, most of them, if they're already having to go that direction, they're just gonna skip Arrington. They're gonna go to Diggs Mountain, go to Oak Ridge, and then you're gonna have a ton of traffic coming out at Oak Ridge, right there at the bus, where the buses are coming through in the mornings. All that traffic that used to come straight to us and then go northbound is gonna go back there, and you're gonna have more accidents there. I think this is a horrible decision. There are other ways to fix this issue here, and it's not by putting all of this traffic in. It's by enforcing speed limits and enforcing the stop signs and the yield, because that's your main problem in both of those areas. Thank you.
Colin Ramirez.
Hello, I appreciate the opportunity for a few words. My name is Colin Ramirez. I live on 514 Rainbow Ridge Road. I live just up past the Monroe Institute, not far from where Adile Road meets Route 6. And that's kind of what I'm here to talk about. I've been in Nelson County we bought in over 20 years ago, having visited previously Nelson County for many years. My best friend from college lives here, and I've been visiting, loved Nelson for years. I was living in Crozet with my wife, and we were crowded out of Crozet by Old Trail, that huge mega development. We moved to bucolic Nelson County. Old Trail, while huge and destroying the rural quality of where we were, and it was originally presented to local residents on a much smaller scale, was at least in the Albemarle County designated growth area. By contrast, Nelson County is considering allowing a 90+ bed hotel-like center on an agriculturally zoned land near the site of the much smaller current Monroe Institute that would challenge the resources and the quality of life of my current bucolic area. There are many reasons why this is an atrocious idea, and it's an idea that will drive me away from my beloved Nelson County. Most importantly, from my point of view, because it's a month before the supervisors vote on this rezoning exception to the agriculture area, I want to alert all Nelson County residents that if this is allowed, no current rural Nelson area is safe from water guzzling, traffic clogging, life-altering developments that benefit very few, many of whom may even be not local, may be out of state. I would ask the Board of Supervisors to look very hard at the full ownership of the Monroe Institute, which has been very hard for me to figure out from online information, and figure out where the hundreds of thousands of dollars of investment into the Monroe Institute expansion, when the limited information online says that the Monroe Institute is losing $500,000 a year. Who and why are they putting hundreds of thousands of dollars? I urge all Nelson residents to urge all the supervisors to vote no, because if they do not, their bucolic area that is they think is agriculturally zoned and is protected will be the next up for a business venture on a large scale that will forever alter the nature of their life in Nelson County. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Richard Bell.
Thank you for letting me come in here to speak today instead of driving my truck up here. So I appreciate it. My name is Richard Bell. I live at 165 Deer Run Lane, Shipman. And my concerns on sanctuary stuff, the sanctuary policies that Spanberger is putting out, and to let illegals roam about and do crimes like the one that happened up there in Fairfax. The other concern is, the other sanctuary is, she's taking our gun rights, so now we have to become a sanctuary county in order to keep our gun rights. I'm opposed to having her do this stuff and create havoc for the rest of us. It was a God-given thing for our founders to give us gun rights, and I would like to see it stay the same if we can. But, you know, now that all the counties, Lynchburg, Amherst, I don't know about Charlottesville though, but they're switching over to protection, sanctuary protections, to keep our rights so we can defend ourselves in case necessary. They want our guns because of the extremists that are in this state. And now we have a lieutenant governor that's Islamic. She's protected by Islamic security. They want the guns so they can do whatever they want to do and disarm us so we can't fight back if we had to. The Second Amendment is to protect our rights against tyranny in this country, and it needs to be protected. Thank you.
John Harris.
Good afternoon. My name's John Harris. I live at 831 Pine Trail in Livingston. I'm a retired Marine officer. When I retired from the federal government after a number of more years working for them. We came down here 4.5 years ago, and we love it. We got a beautiful county. What I wanted to address today was the resolution in opposition to the congressional redistricting constitutional amendment. Gerrymandering, I'm from Mississippi originally. Gerrymandering has been bad for both sides. Everybody's tried to use it for their own purposes for a long time. And in 2020, the Commonwealth of Virginia came up with a pretty good idea with a commission, but impartial commission of both parties and civilians to determine the districts, which is, I thought was wonderful because everybody was involved and there didn't appear to be too many politics involved on either side. So my point to you guys is I would request that you approve the resolution opposing the congressional redistricting because we only got, you know, they've got 4 more years and they would meet again. They normally, this impartial board normally meets after the census, which occurs every 10 years. There hadn't been a census since 2020 when they did the last redistricting. And so it makes sense to not do a knee-jerk reaction to what our glorious legislature wants us to do. So the other thing I'd like to say is please support the Second Amendment resolution. Again, it's very important for us to have the ability to defend ourselves in the event others can't be there. Thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thank you. I may mispronounce this. Stanley Maliski?
Yes.
Say the next person after who's gonna be, that way they're ready.
I'm gonna shake things up a little bit. I'm gonna say the next person on the list so that way you're moving and shaking so we can keep this party going. So the next one's Paul Sullivan.
Good afternoon, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen of the board, Sheriff. I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to speak before you regarding your consideration of resolution R 2026-18 concerning the April 21st special election for redistricting amendment to the Virginia Constitution. Whatever your personal feelings are in this matter, it is not an issue for which the board should be taking an official position. You have no dog in this fight. You have no horse in this race. Your consideration of this incredibly divisive matter only serves to further divide your constituents. Surely you realize that no matter how you vote, there will be constituents who will find your position despicable and antithetical to their own positions. You may answer, this is true for any issue considered. There will always be people in support and people opposed to your choices. Yes, there will always be pro and con positions on any issue the board considers. The difference between this and other issues that come before the board is that this is an issue that you should not be considering in your official capacity. The divisiveness of this issue calls instead for greater leadership from this board. Yes, why create further divisiveness to an unforced error when you could set an example of greater comedy? We already have too much that divides us. Adding fuel to this fire is reckless and unnecessary. Let me repeat that observation again, and with emphasis. Adding fuel to this fire is reckless and unnecessary. This is a moment where the board might better consider what it can do to help bridge the widening gap and widening chasm and disagreement among the people of Nelson County. It is your leadership that is most needed at this time. Don't squander your voice. Please table further consideration of this ill-conceived notion. I'm sorry, I don't think I gave you my name and address. Stanley Maliski, 368 Hidden Creek Road, Millersburg, Virginia. And again, thank you.
All right, Paul Sullivan and Ann Michie is after Paul. He's not wrong.
Good afternoon. My name is Paul Sullivan. I live at 115 Rosewood in wonderful Millersburg, and I'm really happy to be a Nelson County resident and voter. I also serve as the chair of the Nelson County Democratic Committee, so thank you for allowing me 5 minutes today. Also, thank you for the opportunity to speak with you in a friendly and neighborly manner about Resolution R 2026-18. The resolution before you concerns the April 21, 2026 special election for the redistricting amendment to the Virginia Constitution. Voters in our Commonwealth are being asked a simple question. Will voters allow the General Assembly to temporarily adopt new congressional districts to restore fairness in the upcoming elections? The Nelson County Board of Supervisors here today seeks as a legislative body to formally oppose the constitutional amendment that would allow for a temporary reapportionment of the 11 seats in the U.S. House of Representatives. So let's discuss facts, and let's discuss two recent events that bring us here today. Here's the first event. The vote on the constitutional amendment in Virginia is in response to the harmful and unprecedented actions by President Trump and the Republican legislators in Texas and other states to change Democratic seats to Republican seats in the U.S. House of Representatives. Their partisan action in between the 10-year census and redistricting was done in Texas and other states without a vote of the people. Here's the second event, a quote from our new governor, Abigail Spanberger. And she said, as early voting begins tomorrow, she said this the other day, on Virginia's redistricting amendment, voters should know that Virginia's approach is different. It is temporary. It is directly responsive to what other states decided to do. And most importantly, it preserves Virginia's bipartisan redistricting process for the future. So the 71% vote that was mentioned earlier, that was people generally opposed to any type of partisan gerrymandering, especially what had happened in the past. Okay? I'm here to oppose the resolution. The board should table, withdraw, or otherwise defeat the resolution, and I offer 4 reasons. For my first reason, the proposed resolution should die because the board has no real authority in the name of the county to ask me or tell me or any other citizen how we should vote. The board should never tell a citizen how to vote, period. Such an action would be presumptuous. Let us be clear. Each supervisor is free to voice your personal opinion as a private citizen and do what you want. And yes, please do that, yet not as a legislative body. For my second reason, the proposed resolution should die because it has no force in law. The proposed resolution is not a county ordinance. The proposed resolution would have no legal teeth. So there's no reason for the board to spend the board's limited time on this matter. For my third reason, the board's proposed resolution fails on the merits. The special election allows the people of Virginia to vote on the constitutional amendment. This sacred act, voting in a free and fair election, must not be tampered with by anyone seeking to sow chaos and confusion in the election. President Trump and Republican legislators improperly bypassed the will of voters in Texas and other states. In sharp contrast, here in Virginia, our legislators properly handed the decision to reapportion districts to the voters. Yes, our democracy is functioning well in Virginia by allowing the citizens to vote. Thank you. For my fourth reason why the proposed resolution should die, our supervisors should not spend time on any non-local issue because that sets an ominous precedent. Should the board move forward with the resolution, then scores of state, national, and international issues will simply overwhelm your agenda. The alternative would be for the board to promote voter registration and voting as a civic duty. So I conclude by asking you to let common sense prevail and please table this ill-advised resolution. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm not sure. I can read the next person. Is it Caroline? I don't know. Calvin, maybe.
Calvin Smith.
That'd be you. You'll be next after Miss Michie.
My name is Ann Michie. I live at 1856 Monica Drive. I have bragged on Nelson County to anyone who would listen since I moved here. And generally my bragging starts with my pride in this board. Most of you ran as independents. I've been covering this board for almost 4 years for the Democrats. You may or may not have seen my board summaries that I put out every month so that people will know what you are doing. We have had the benefit of your independent judgment after you consulted with your constituents and allowed us to say our piece at the board meetings. I've never known you to frame any of your arguments, and I'm sorry I haven't had the chance, Mr. Lanahan, to see how you frame your arguments, but we'll get there, in a partisan way. This board has been nonpartisan right up until today. I am not here to defend the merits of the proposed referendum. A lot of us have struggled over what we ought to do. But I am here to tell you that you are outside of your jurisdiction and your bailiwick. And by using your supervisor status to speak for the rest of us is offensive. When I read that motion, the resolution, my first reaction was, how dare you? How dare you assume you know what I'm thinking? How dare you know what my vote will be? And how dare you lecture me on how I'm supposed to vote? Now, what's the net effect of all of that? Look at this. This is now a partisan meeting over what is a partisan referendum. Let's not pretend it's anything else than that, and the Democrats certainly haven't. But this is not your job. And what it is going to do is cause further hard feelings in this county. Now, should you stay silent about what you think about the referendum? No, you've got First Amendment rights like everybody else. But don't tag the term Board of Supervisor next to your signature on this. You do not speak for us, speak for yourselves. Mail postcards, write emails, whatever you choose, exercise your right to vote. You are better, and you have been better as a board than this referendum, this motion would make you. And frankly speaking, I have been so proud to be a part of this county and this government. Don't disappoint me now. Thank you.
Carlton Ballou will be after this gentleman. Thank you.
Thank y'all for this. I come to you.
Can you speak
All
your name and address?
taxpayers in the county.
Can you speak your name and address, please?
All right, Calvin Snell, 604 Aston Mountain Road.
Thank you.
But I'm coming here in behalf of all the taxpayers of the county. I'm asking y'all, when somebody tells you something, listen to them. Don't laugh at them and tell them they don't know nothing. Like Tommy Harvey did 30 years ago when I came to him and told him that Rockfish School wasn't built right. But the thing is, nobody in the school board office here in the village told me to shut up. They didn't know, they didn't ask me the reason I knew it wasn't built right. Because I have a family of contractors. My dad was the largest contractor in the state of Virginia. We built schools, we built government buildings, and we built the most famous school in the state of Virginia is in the Remember the Titans. You have 3 of the black boys in the Virginia movie. And I know that fact. I can go down and show you in Rockfish the outlets push into the wall. You got some of them, you plug something on the fireflies out of them. And then the contract that when y'all said that windows were put in backwards and start putting, and the contractor did not bought the window springs in as pre-done a year before they were supposed to go in. So they rushed it. It doesn't matter the difference how much you do to them, they'll never be still leaked. And y'all use taxpayers' money and do that, and with the same contractor, where I understand. And you'll never get it done. But can I say this? The thing it is, you should have looked at the Virginia law, contractor law, which makes the Virginia contractor, if you find anything wrong with the building, they're supposed to come back and fix it at their cost. And then all these, the Tide River, Rockfish, and whatever that, and the last 4 buildings that you have built in the last 30 years are not up to Virginia code. Because I've been around construction most of my life, and I've been done that. All right, thank y'all.
Thank you. So after Carlton, it's Claudia Vancova.
My name is Carlton Blue. I live at 1 Mosby Lane, Faulkner, Virginia, 22938. And I want to start by commending the board for taking up these 2 issues, the referendum and the sanctuary status, because it took some courage to do it, and you didn't have to. But you know, the 3% of the US population that took up arms to throw off the British rule in 1776 didn't have to do that either. And I'm drawing that corollary because if you look at these two things together, you have a formula for tyranny. It's been used all over the world. You disenfranchise and you disarm. And both those things are on the platter today. Now, I know that some of y'all, it's been said that the board doesn't really have a dog in this fight, but that's just not true at all. You do both as individuals and as a county. You're going to lose your congressman. I would say that has some consequences. You're going to be lumped in with other communities that have less in common with you than what you have now. So you're going to be underrepresented in Congress. And that brings us to the amendment. Right now, this bipartisan commission that they appointed to redraw districts some years ago did a pretty darn good job. The the state is about 55-45 Democrat. Right now, we have 6-5 Democrat versus Republican representation in Congress. That's entirely fair, as much as I hate to say it or admit it. Now they're proposing a 10-1 split. Now, that cannot be described as fair by any definition whatsoever. And so I would ask this board to vote to support the Second Amendment status, to reaffirm that, and to recommend or vote no on the referendum. Thank you very much.
So after Claudia is Ridgely Harrison.
I'm going to be short and sweet. My name is Claudia Vancoma. I'm been living in the county since 1976. Bought the land and then moved down in 82. I live in Tie River, but they closed down our post office some time ago. And so we're in 1033 Falling Rock Drive, Amherst, Virginia, but I'm not in Amherst. One year they tried to give me real estate taxes for both counties, and I had to disabuse them of that. But at any rate, I was sad to see this resolution R202626-18 regarding the April 21st special election. As far as I knew, each one of you are going to be voting in that election individually, and which this is a free country and that's what you're going to do. But I'm not happy that the Nelson County Board of Supervisors took it upon themselves to have the authority in the name of the county to tell me how to vote. I'm 76 years old. I'm not going to be told now how to vote or even suggest how to vote. So I'm asking you to please let that die on the vine. Everything else I believe you've done has been exemplary, but I'm not happy with this. So please reconsider. Thank you.
All right. We have Ridgely Harrison, and then Cook Harvey will be after Ridgely.
I'm Ridgely Harrison. I'm 1566 High Peak Lane in Shipman, 22971. So I've been concerned sort of about so many farms and wineries now. And back when we had the Nelson County Festival in the summertime, and people came from everywhere really. And when they were wine tasting, they were given a stamp on their left hand. And at the end of the event, when they were leaving, for them getting on our highways, we had a sheriff's department that checked and could see that left hand of the driver. And I just thought that might be something that we could require of farms again. That would be a position that they would have to do, not our sheriff's department. But they would hire somebody to check the people leaving and be responsible for them getting on the road or not. So it doesn't have to do with the other stuff. I don't know if you have to write an ordinance or something for it or what, but just a suggestion, okay?
Thank you. Cook Harvey, and then Don Hares would be next. Hares, yeah.
Cook Costa Harvey, 111 Dove Lane. I am in Amherst, Virginia 24521. But if the board sees fit for a brief comment. So I love the people and the idea of self-determined government, and that's why I'd like to be representative of this district. And I think we can see that the partisan politics prevents us from moving forward as a united people. So hopefully, if you're interested in that, please come see a third person on the ballot, and we can move forward as a united country. I'll be outside.
Good job.
All right, after Don is Wisteria Johnson.
Make this taller here. First off, I appreciate the opportunity to come before you guys and state my opinions. Basically, several things I want to say, but I do plan to be fairly quick, okay? December 7th, 1941, my dad was an 18-year-old Marine at Pearl Harbor. He was attacked. And September 11th, 2001, I was an assistant state fire marshal and assistant fire chief for the town in North Carolina. All right, I was also designated a team leader to go to Petersburg, to New York, should North Carolina send people there after the attack. All right. In 2019, I was standing at this podium and in a rally outside in support of a resolution to make us a sanctuary county for the Second Amendment. Today, the attacks are coming internally. Okay, I don't believe in what's going on in Richmond is either constitutional, morally, or ethically correct. I'll leave my opinions to myself on some of the other stuff. But what I do want to say is in 1773, there was a little party in Boston Harbor. Okay, I do not think dumping the cargo of a ship of tea into the harbor had a real impact on the colonies that were here. Okay. However, it did put forth one of the biggest optics I think we've ever seen. 250 years later, does everybody know what the Boston Tea Party is? Yeah, I think so. That's what I'm asking you to do. Okay, everything we do here is not going to make that big an impact, but it is an optic. It is asking you guys in support of the county to let the people in Richmond see how the people feel. Okay, the Second Amendment is part of our history. It's part of our lifestyle. Nothing they've said or done justifies what they're doing. So what I'm simply going to do is ask you guys again to reaffirm their support of the Second Amendment, and just let's let them know in Richmond. And I appreciate it.
So, yes, ma'am. Wisteria Johnson, and then Thomas Nelson is next.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Wisteria Johnson. I'm 75 years old. My family has been here forever, starting with the indigenous people. I love this county, but today I'm very upset that I have to be here for this. Why are you considering even taking a position on the referendum? Do you fear now that there may be some people that are seeing the truth with what's happening in this country? There are 3 states that have already forced a decision on their state that has gerrymandering favoring the Republicans. This state, Virginia, is coming to the people, not to the local government. Is your sense of power gotten so big that dictatorship is now part of you too? If so, it's killing America. You can see that every day. The party that is in control of this country is extreme Republicans. I know that you know because a lot of you ran under the independent party. Speaking of truth, under this federal administration, this country is crumbling. You see it every time you turn on the TV. And listen, this country is dying. We are losing our democracy. It seems that this referendum is an attempt, a fight to maintain democracy. The freedoms that you and I have enjoyed for generations is in this democracy still. It's not too late. And we want them for our kids and our grandkids. If you keep going the way this country is going, there will be dictatorship. And the oops that comes in the future, if it keeps going this way, it's going to be too late. Again, the referendum is for the people, not for the local board. My recommendation to you is stay out of it. And also, in closing, thank you for the services that you try to give this county. I voted for you, I've loved you, I've hugged you, I've conversated with you over the phone. I have a love for this country, for this county, and I have a love for you, but I don't like some of the positions that you're taking. And I'm hoping that you change and do something different. Last thing, happy birthday, Pat Sullivan.
Thomas Nelson, and then Heath Snyder is next.
I'm Thomas Nelson, I live at 304 Deerwood Court in Roseland, Virginia. I love my president. I think he's doing an outstanding job. I think the Democratic Party actually was close to destroying it with former President Biden. I was really worried. Really worried what was happening to our country. My fourth great grandfather signed the Declaration of Independence. And from that point on, all my relatives love this country. They fought for it. I fought in Vietnam. What you're doing here with the Second Amendment, I agree with. With the vote no on the redistricting, I agree with it. I understand the argument, but what you do here is leading what the Nelson County does. I think that Spanberger and her multitude of resolutions, things she's about to pass, is putting woke back into the college, into the schools. I think the border, for instance, how can anyone support open border? But they did. The last administration just opened up the floodgate, and now we're suffering for it. Anybody that says that's not harmful is out of their mind. And I'm trying to be polite, what I could say. But I think we should be praying for our soldiers overseas. We've lost some, but if the former administration had let this go, we would have had a nuclear weapon available to hit Israel. It could eventually have come here. Why would you want to quit what we're doing if that were going to happen? Continue to pray for it. A couple things on the side. We have an American Legion. I'm not speaking for him. I happen to be the commander of the unit, Post 17 of Shipment. If there are veterans here that haven't been part of American Legion, I would suggest you visit us. We do great things. We put flags on 7 different cemeteries for the veterans. But anyway, I thank you very much for what you do. I know it's not, you don't always get thanks. And one more thing, I'm not speaking for the Board of Equalization, but a lot of people that I've talked to think they're scared of the 26% or whatever the increase is on the homes. A lot of them don't understand that you will decide on the tax rate. It doesn't mean you're going to pay 26 more on your properties. You're going to start at a lower position on the tax rate, and then you're going to bring it up as to how much money is needed in this county. A lot of people don't understand that. Just because your property increased in value over 4 years, the tax rate will start at a lower position, and you'll determine how much more money you need. I see a lot of people don't do it. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
All right. Oh, well, after Heath will be Stephanie. Okay.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak. My name is Heath Matisse Snyder. I live at 1124 Roberts Mountain Road, Faber, Virginia, 22938. As I just said, my name is Heath. I was born and raised in Nelson County, and I serve the Nelson County community as a firefighter paramedic. I'm also a property owner in the New Land subdivision in Faber, where I live with my wife and our 2 daughters. I am speaking to express my deep concerns regarding the Monroe Institute's proposed conference center, which comes to vote at your April 14th meeting. In regards to the Nelson County Comprehensive Plan, which the Board of Supervisors approved, the Monroe Institute's proposal goes directly against the following elements of the comprehensive plan. Number 3, shaping community character, objective, protect rural character and the environment. This development will destroy sensitive resources, negatively affect the well-being and viewshed of the residents of the new land community and our neighbors, and increase strain on the community, infrastructure, and services. An expansion of this scale with its proposed 60 additional beds and a large conference hall equates to a hotel and will not protect the rural character of this community and the neighboring properties. Furthermore, this proposed expansion will greatly increase vehicular and pedestrian traffic on our community's roads. We have a quiet, family-friendly neighborhood where large amounts of additional traffic, both vehicular and pedestrian, will pose very real safety concerns for our families and in particular for the very many young children in the new land community. Number 6, protecting valuable resources. Objective, protect the natural environment, preserve rural character and heritage. Element 2, the comprehensive plan states it will direct development and infrastructure away from the ecological cores, migration corridors, and environmentally sensitive areas. The new land area is ranked as outstanding on the map in terms of ecological rankings. Element 16, the plan also states it will direct development away from prime agricultural soils and suitable agricultural lands identified on the Virginia agricultural model. At nearly 59,000 square feet, the proposed building is approximately 9 times the square footage of the Devil's Backbone Brewery. This large-scale commercial structure will be built on a highly visible ridge in a rural subdivision on property zoned A1 agricultural. The proposed expansion will negatively impact the agricultural and visual characters of this rural bucolic community. Element 20, the proposed SUP site is situated on a prominent ridgeline which goes directly against the comprehensive plan's to discourage ridgeline development to protect scenic viewsheds. The Nelson County Comprehensive Plan states Nelson will encourage new development in designated growth areas so that the existing infrastructure can be more efficiently used and rural lands will be protected from new development. The SUP site is not in a designated growth area. In closing, I know many of you share the vision and goal of keeping Nelson rural. This is the time for you, the Board of Supervisors, to show exactly that. Thank you for your
After Stephanie is James Bibb.
Hello, my name is Stephanie Matisik Snyder. I live at 1124 Roberts Mountain Road in Faber, Virginia, 22938. Dear members of the Board of Supervisors, I hope you're well today. I'm a property owner as well in the New Land subdivision where I live with my husband, who you just heard from, and our 2 daughters. I speak today to express my deep concerns regarding the Monroe Institute's special use permit for expansion. My hope is that you will see and agree that the Institute's plan for expansion is in direct conflict with the criteria used to evaluate special use permits in Nelson County. It is also in direct conflict with the county's long-term comprehensive plan. At 59,000 square feet, it represents a massive increase in scale and scope, almost 10 times this current scale. A commercial business of this size simply does not belong on A1 agriculturally zoned land in a rural residential area. The application does not satisfy criteria A and B of the conditions for special use permit. Item A, the use shall not tend to change the character of established pattern of development in the area or community in which it proposes to locate. Again, at almost 60,000 square feet, it could be one of the larger or largest buildings in Nelson County. By comparison, it's twice the size of the Livingston Food Lion, though it is vertical, which is approximately 32,000 square feet. For reference, it would be about 5 times the size of Bold Rock on 151, which is about 13,000 square feet. The proposed building is comparable in square footage to the average large-scale big box store such as Target or Best Buy. It is decidedly out of place in character with the rural residences and landscape of New Land. The use, item B, the use shall be in harmony with the uses permitted by right in the zoning district and shall not affect adversely the use of neighboring property. The location of the expansion is zoned A1 agricultural. Therefore, the intended use of an enormous conference center, cafe, gift shop with a massive increase in traffic, waste, and pollution is drastically out of harmony with a hayfield nestled in a rural area sprinkled with homes and farmland. Members of the board, you have been elected by your constituents and entrusted to make important decisions which will shape the future of Nelson County, this incredibly special place. Some of you have campaigned on keeping Nelson rural. Together with your community, you have created a comprehensive plan to help ensure that Nelson thrives while still protecting the unique character of the county. Today, I kindly call on you to demonstrate to your constituents that you have their best interests at heart and vote against this proposal. Thank you.
So after Mr. Bibb, it's Kathy Plunkett Verslace. Thank you.
Good afternoon, board, ladies and gentlemen. I had not planned to be here today, but as fate would have it, here I am. Fate is typically what I call when my wife tells me I have to go do something.
Can you state your address real quick?
My name again is James Bibb, and address is 4141 Phoenix Road, Arrington, Virginia.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I am here to offer support for resolutions R2026, 18, and 19. I appreciate your stances in bringing these before today. I want to just read, I don't have anything composed, I'm just going to read a little excerpt from one of my favorite documents. 250 years old this year, actually. It's called the Constitution of Virginia. And inside of that is the Bill of Rights of Virginia, which was basically used very heavily for the creation of the United States Bill of Rights. Article 1, Section 13, militia standing armies, military subordinate to civil power. That a well-regulated militia composed of the body of the people trained to arms is the proper and natural and safe defense of a free state. Therefore, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. That standing armies in time of peace should be avoided as dangerous to liberty, and that in all cases, the military should be under strict subordination to and governed by the civil power. I have a good authority that every one of you has taken an oath to the Constitution of the United States, which our Second Amendment of the Constitution of the United States is pulled directly from this Section 13 from the Virginia Constitution. I would be very proud to see that as many yea votes as possible on this resolution. Now moving on to the resolution opposing the congressional redistricting. We all know it is an absolute farce. We know it's political games. We know that it's gerrymandering. We don't care what Texas does. We don't care what North Carolina does. We don't care what California does. We care what Virginia does. Virginia makes stances. We take chances. We stand up against it. We have already made the decision that we do not like political gerrymandering and so forth. We have voted against it. And I appreciate you bringing this to the floor for a resolution. And I would appreciate all of your support of it. Thank you.
After Kathy is Justin Maimone. I apologize if I'm. Thank you.
Hi, first of all, thank you all for doing your work that you do so well. My name is Kathy Verslaus, and I live on 8 Isle Road, have since 1987, business owner. I am not a public speaker, so forgive me, but I am deeply disappointed to hear that you all are considering this R2026-18 because really it's not your business. It is, it smacks of, disinformation.
And we all know in this day and age, there's a whole lot of disinformation out there. Misinformation is sort of an accidental information that's not correct, but disinformation smacks of someone consciously trying to confuse people. And this is an issue that's R 2026-18, is really for the people of Virginia on their own to vote on. And I, for one, these are very uncommon times. I, for one, am happy that Virginia is one of 50 states in the United States of America. And I really want to have every person, every American citizen in the United States to continue being able to vote. And that's up for grabs with the president that we currently have. He has made it known that he does not think it's necessary that we vote in the future. Why not just keep him forever? Why not? Or anybody that he picks. So rather than that happening, and some people seem to want that, but rather than that happening, I would rather that every United States citizen should continue to be able to vote. And that is why the state of Virginia is stepping up, because unjustly, certain states have been told that they are going to be redistricted, that's Texas and some others, in favor of increasing the Republican districts. And that is just not fair. And so Virginia is taking a different stance. They're allowing the people to decide on that issue. And that would balance out the unjust extra seats in Congress. So my vote is for you all, my request is for you all to table this R 2026-18 and allow the people of Virginia to decide, whatever they decide. But I want Republicans and Democrats to continue being able to vote in the future across the United States. Thank you.
How do you say your last name?
Mamone.
Mamone?
Yes.
And so Kim Mamone will be next.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm Justin Mamone. I live at 1270 Roberts Mountain Road in Faber, Virginia. I'm here to talk about the Monroe Institute expansion and how that will affect this family community. As you know, back there's families, there's couples, and then there's the Monroe Institute. And all of us have lived in harmony for as long as it's been there. This proposed expansion will increase pedestrian traffic by 3 to 4 times. And with this, we're gonna have more strangers staying with us for a week. These aren't people that live here. These aren't people that are contributing to the county. They're people that are gonna be staying amongst families. On this land, there's a lake, and we all have access to this lake. We can paddle on the lake, we can fish the lake. I'm just gonna give you an example of what happened to me and my family one day. Me and my children were canoeing in the lake, and there was a couple other people down the lake as well. When we got to the dock, there was a gun on the dock. My children were the first ones who were out of the canoe, and my 2-year-old son went running up to this gun and was very curious about it. I'm okay with people having guns. I'm not okay with people being silly with it and just leaving their gun on a dock in a family community. The man was screaming that it was his. He came over, he talked to us, he was nice enough. And I've been told by the Monroe Institute that they don't allow people to have guns and they don't condone that. But all this did was show me how little they truly know about their participants and what they are bringing to this rural community. A lot of these people are from the city or from other countries and are maybe a little bit nervous coming to a rural community and feel that they need to have ways to defend themselves. I would ask you or anyone else, would you want 3 to 4 times increased people strangers walking around your communities and walking around your children that you don't know. We don't form relationships with any of them. We don't get to know any of them. They are in and out. And the next week you have another 70, 90 people coming in with this proposed expansion. And what I've been asking the Monroe Institute is just to decrease this size. The size, 59,000 square feet, is just incredibly large for this tiny, beautiful family community that we live in. This is a global company that isn't benefiting Nelson County. So thank you for your time. Thank you for hearing me out.
Thank you. And after Kim is Stephen Bain.
My name is Kimberly Mamoni. I live at 1270 Roberts Mountain Road, and I'm also here in regards to the Monroe expansion. We moved here for the rural beauty and also for the community in Nelson in general. With this permit, they want to build a huge building, which you've already heard about. And it's essentially in our backyard, which is not ideal. And if something like this were proposed to go through, that could happen anywhere. And I understand we want to grow Nelson, but I feel like we need to be aware of how we grow it and conscious of our citizens that live here. These people are coming and going. They don't live here. They're not going off the site. They're not spending money in our area. They're purely there for their experience and then they leave. And we will have to live with that. I also fear that it's going to decrease our housing value, because who's going to drive up that way and see this massive building and be like, oh yeah, I want to live here in the middle of nowhere where you want to see the stars and you want to just enjoy nature, and then you drive up and see this massive building. I know they're trying to make it aesthetically pleasing, but I just fear that it's not best for Nelson to put a building of this size in a small rural community where we all generally wanted to live there for the remoteness and the beauty. Thank you.
Stephen Bain, 624 North Klein, Nelliesford. As a Nelson County resident, in particular a resident of the Central District, I was shocked to discover that the waste treatment plant at Wintergreen is overflowing and has been overflowing since before Christmas of 2024. From minutes from the January 16, 2025 meeting of the County Service Authority, quote, the equalization basis has been overflowing since before Christmas and continues to do so, end quote. I submitted an information request to the county, even though such public safety information should be transparently available to citizens without the requirement for a FOIA request. DEQ issued a notice of violation dated February 13, 2025 for unauthorized discharges. Following our data points for the period from December 30th, 2024 to January 30th, 31st, 2025, the Service Authority notified DEQ that the treatment plant was overflowing raw wastewater to the creek to Pond Hollow. DEQ received an anonymous complaint of sewage discharge to the environment at the facility. From an inspection, DEQ observed evidence of overflows and overflowed frozen foam on the walkways from biological upset of the plant. From communication between the Service Authority and DEQ, the daily volume of the overflows was estimated to be 75 to 100,000 gallons daily. The estimated volume of discharge was reported at 1.5 to 2 million gallons, with the discharge ongoing. DEQ again issued a notice of violation dated February 6, 2026 regarding the unauthorized discharges. On February 16th, I submitted a formal complaint to the Virginia Department of Health. The Department of Health has authority regarding drinking water, and I'm concerned that residents who back up to the creek and river have wells that are at risk from contaminants. In addition to E. coli bacteria, contaminants include ammonia, nitrates, and phosphates. This is a critical concern for many reasons. One, the overflow discharge is a serious health risk. Two, it has been occurring for at least 15 months without resolution. Three, residents are unaware that the overflow discharge is and has been occurring. Four, the county has not directly engaged the service authority to expedite resolution. Five, the county has not initiated communication on this issue with transparency to residents, particularly those who back up to the creek and river. This certainly should have occurred during monthly Board of Supervisors meetings in the board reports, as the Board of Supervisors is represented on the Service Authority Board. These actions should have been initiated by the county many months ago versus necessitating citizen complaint and or whistleblowing occurring now. Thank you.
I'm a little pleased to say our list is done. So this is officially the end of public comment. We'll plow on to the consent agenda.
Madam Chair, I move we approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
I have a move and a second. Shall we do a roll call vote?
Mr. Reed,
Yes.
Mr. Carr,
Yes.
Mr. Rutherford.
Yes.
Mr. Linehan.
Yes.
Dr. Whittle.
Yes. All right, presentations. We have the VDOT report. Mr. Brown is still here. I'm leaving.
Yeah. I got the bathroom.
Okay. Okay.
I'm 2 coffees.
Before you start, there's been a request that we have a bathroom break after you're done.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
All right.
not a problem, I won't be.
But
long.
I'm glad you're here.
I don't have a whole lot to report this month. We've got some ongoing issues that we're still working on that the board has brought to our attention. One is the pedestrian study over in Nellis Ward. That still isn't complete, but it's gonna get completed, but it's still ongoing. Also, the traffic talking that's going on up on 151 above Greenfield at Ashley's, got a concern up there about where the trucks pull over and basically block the through lane. We're working on that. We think we got a remedy for that. We did take care of a drainage complaint on 617 that was brought to our attention, over on Rockfish Road. We are continuing to make some major progress in replacing, damaged pipes, poor pipes that are in bad condition in Nelson County, specifically again in the Shipman area headquarters, as well as the Bryan area headquarters. We're making a lot of progress on that. That's, hopefully with the snow and while it getting better, we can get focused on, machining some unpaved roads. That has been a concern. It's been, we have started machining unpaved roads, so, that will help those folks out to have a smoother ride. Other than that, I don't have a whole lot.
What are they doing on Route 6? I see they're taking out the markers out of the center lane. They getting ready to remark that or mill it up?
That is, I think that is to replace the snow plow markers.
Yeah, they kind of wreak havoc on them.
And we do have a safety project, that's coming up that, on the southbound lane, to widen the shoulders like we did in the other areas. That will be starting soon. So that's gonna be a major improvement on Route 29. I think that completes all of Route 29 and getting an adequate shoulder
And what this does, it really helps, reduce the road departure crashes. I think we've had two or three of those projects. This will complete all 29 in Nelson County, so we're excited about that.
Will that give, like, when the track trailers break down, will that give them enough room to get off the road?
No,
Okay.
it's not that good. But what it does do is, if a motorist, goes off the edge of the road, they will have more paved shoulder, a better recovery area to make corrections, is what it does. So,
Glass Hall almost got washed out. The creek started washing underneath the road and jumped right on it.
Mr. Parr, do you have anything, Mr. Brown?
I don't, not today.
Mr. Reed?
Nope.
Jesse?
I'm good.
Thank you, Rob.
Anything? I hope you have a great day. Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
We're gonna take a 5-minute break. It's 3:16 right now. We'll be right back.